Okay, let's unpack this. Could your daily, say, $6 habit actually be, well, silently stealing your financial future? We're diving deep into the psychology behind this idea, the latte factor, but we want to go way beyond just telling you to skip your coffee.
That's right. Our mission today is really about analyzing the behavioral side of things. The shocking psychology, maybe, of how these small, seemingly harmless daily costs.
Micro purchases, you call them.
Exactly, micro purchases, how they can quietly drain, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars from your lifetime wealth. We need to understand the mechanism, this leak. It's often tied to something called mental accounting.
Okay, let's make that real. Let's use the math we pulled from the sources. We got this classic example, Sarah, right? In 28 Chicago, buys a $6 treat every workday. If you break down that math, that's about $180 a month. Over $2,000 a year, just from that one daily choice.
Mm-hmm. And remember, that's just one single tiny transaction repeated. The reason this sneaks past us is that mental accounting thing. We treat that $6 spent from our pocket totally differently than, say, $180 leaving our bank account automatically.
Right, like a bill payment feels different.
It does, because the $6 tap to pay has almost zero pain of payment. It feels like nothing.
Yeah.
So our brain just anchors it as negligible, insignificant. And that's how a leak of potentially $50,000 over 30 years can happen without setting off any big emotional alarms.
Okay, that shift in perspective. Daily cost versus lifetime potential. That feels like the hinge point here. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Contrasting money spent mindlessly, poof, it disappears, loudly even, versus money invested, which multiplies quietly in the background.
Right. And if we run the compounding math properly, the potential loss, it's actually staggering. If that's same $6 a day.
The exact same money.
The exact same money, yeah. If it were intentionally put into, say, a simple index fund, just tracking the market, nothing fancy, averaging maybe a 7% annual return, which is pretty standard long term, you'd be looking at roughly $200,000 after 30 years.
Wow. $200,000.
That's the potential cost. Financial freedom, maybe college tuition, maybe retiring a bit earlier, traded effectively for foam art and loyalty points, as one source put it.
Okay, hang on, though. Before we get too carried away with just the individual choice, we have to touch on this counterpoint from the sources. Isn't this advice a bit privileged? For a lot of people, skipping a $6 coffee isn't going to magically pay off huge debts or get them a down payment on a house, right? How do we avoid this just becoming, blaming the consumer?
That's a really important distinction, and a fair one. The latte factor, properly understood, isn't about blaming the coffee or the avocado toast or whatever the habit is. It's about recognizing discretionary spending leaks, unconscious ones. The principle holds whether your leak is coffee or maybe those $10 app subscriptions you forgot about, or ordering takeout too often.
So it's the unconscious part that's key.
That's the core. If you find even $6 a day of spending you didn't even realize you were doing or didn't really value, you've basically found capital. Money that belonged to nobody before. And now it can belong to you, to your future.
So, okay, what does this mean for you listening? The core lesson here really feels like empowerment. It's that wealth often is built through these small, intentional habits, not just, big lottery wins or huge raises, recognizing and then redirecting those daily leaks in your budget.
Yeah.
That's where the power starts.
Absolutely. So our challenge for you is simple, but it can be profound. For the next 7 days, just track every single tiny purchase, anything under, say, $20. And when you go to make that purchase, just pause. Create that tiny moment of friction and ask yourself that central question. Do I want this fleeting thing now, or do I want that potential future freedom, that $200,000 later?
Yeah. And the ultimate realization maybe is that you don't necessarily need to earn a ton more to become wealthy. Sometimes you just need to leak less and redirect what you already have flowing through your hands.
Exactly. Which leads us to the final thought. Something important for you to chew on from the sources. Once you start identifying and redirecting all that potential money, stopping the leak is really only half the equation. Saving without a clear purpose, without a destination, well, that's just another kind of trap, another form of inaction.
Right, so knowing why you're saving.
Precisely. You need a dedicated home for those newly found funds. Maybe it's a specific investment goal. Maybe it's smashing high-interest debt or building that solid emergency fund. Awareness is step one, absolutely. But commitment to a financial destination, that's step two.